All right, shalom, shalom first and foremost. I'd like to give all the honor, the praise, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rach HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered abroad. This is the brother Barzal here with a lesson, and Lord willing is edifying. So this lesson will be entitled, Hasting unto the coming of the day of God. I'll probably just put it in, verbatim like that. And it's just going into, we hasting to get up out of this place. We don't see a life in Babylon. We pretty much are, we're detached from this society, and, hey, we just ready for the Lord to return. These prophecies to come to pass, the MOTB, being mandated, right? And we want all this to happen because, the sooner these prophecies can happen, the sooner, Lord's will, we get to the kingdom. All right. So, thinking about it like that, you shouldn't be, and that's why you should haste into the coming of the Lord. You shouldn't be scared, afraid, want this society to keep going because this is a wicked society, right? And the scriptures go into, let me just grab it real quick. Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And, currently the state of the world, people are in mourning, all right? A lot of people are seeing gas prices go up, all right? Seeing, famines come into play, right? Different plagues happening, earthquakes, all the different signs of the Lord's coming. We're seeing that during these times. This devil coming with the great wrath, being exposed every day for his wickedness, right? On a global scale, So these are the signs that we hear. And with that being said, we looking for, to get into the kingdom, right? It says, 2 Peter 3:12, looking for and hasten unto the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Because, that's what has to happen, right? This place has to get destroyed by that nuclear fire, which is also known as the second death. So this place, Babylon, will be destroyed along with the wicked, that's here, wicked 2/3 of our people, right? Edomites, whoever's in this land that's not a part of the elect, when the missiles are shot off, is going to die, all right? Unless they were part of the elect, being saved. And we're looking for and hasten unto that day. We want to be those men, Lord's will, that get beamed up into the chariots, And with that happening, that's when our rest will come, when we'll, the law will be the standard, righteousness will be pushed. All right. Nobody's going to be, sodomites, committing adultery, worshiping, other gods and such. Right. Women ain't going to be rebellious, wicked. Everything going to be in its proper order. But for that to come, this place has to be destroyed. All right. It says, nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. You see? So if you're looking for a long life in this kingdom, the Lord really ain't dealing with you. And you can't play, have one foot in the world or 1 foot trying to build in the society and 1 foot in the truth. It don't work like that. The scriptures going to the, not having a lukewarm type of spirit. And we see guys like that, try to say that you can be in the truth and have the finer things, trying to build, land blitz, things like that. And look what happened to those guys. They got exposed to being money hungry, being hustling in the truth, being insincere, being wicked. And, these guys are pretty much, nowhere to be found, And that's not going to be the end. These guys, unless they repent, which, it's a good chance that they won't, but, just speaking, a lot of these guys that's in this spirit, they're not going to repent. You see? Let's get, Micah 2:10, it says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction." So this place isn't our rest. Babylon the Great, a country ruled by wicked Edomites, with the basically the law, the opposite of the laws, the statutes and commandments, that's what's being pushed. And Babylon is known as confusion, and that's all we see. Transformers everywhere, moles everywhere, women ruling over men. So this place got to go. All right. It says, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you even with a sword destruction. And even like the latest headlines now has been, these different World Cup players have been getting their food imported because the food in Babylon, America is so damn trash, GMO, right, filled with all type of chemicals and toxins, and ultimately just defiled. That they didn't want to consume the food because it'll mess up their performance, how they feel, whatever. And that just go to show you that this place is through, because in Europe and other parts of the world, a lot of these different things that America put in their food, like food products and such, that's banned in those other countries. The red dye 40s and yellow 40s and whatever chemical, they don't sell that around the other parts of the world. You see. But that just go to show you that, hey, this place got to go, And this is John 12:25. "He that loveth his life shall lose it, and he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal." And that's a righteous spirit to have. If you hate this life, hate your life, living in Babylon, that's the righteous spirit. You're getting constantly oppressed, living in hell. The scriptures say with wisdom, you get the grief, because you understand that you living in a wicked society, that this isn't our rest. You're not just a nigga, so-called black. You understand why we're in the captivity. You start to understand all these different things, man. And that this isn't our rest. It says, "He that loveth his life shall lose it, and they that love their life, they gonna take the sea hip. They the ones that took the juice, right? They want everything to go back to normal. They want the comfort, security of this life, but they not willing to go through the affliction for Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. They're catching hell to to ultimately get judged, to get destroyed. And we're going through affliction, to be, Lord's will, be preserved, and receive that salvation and be those first fruits in the kingdom of heaven. All right. So we're not to, dwell on this place, think about retirement, think about a life 30, 40, 50 years from now. We ready to get up out of here. And we understand that day is going to come like a thief. And where we are in biblical prophecy with, the technology advancing, how it's advancing, Elon Musk looking to put the brain chip in you, everything turning digital. Got the war going on in the Middle East, famines arising, gas prices going up, So, we pretty much here. And we're not going to get distracted from the World Cup and NBA finals. So we're not going to get caught as a thief during that day. We're not going to get caught up in these different distractions of the world. We're going to keep, and that's what, and that what keeps us on point, putting out the lessons, going out to the highways and hedges, day in and day out, sighing and crying for the abominations thereof, complaining continually. And we have faith that the Lord hears us, and he's coming back to do, what he said he was going to do. And that's written. You see? This is the book of 2 Corinthians 4:17. It says, "For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory." Right? What we go through in this life, catching hell, right? Being slandered, whatever, battle the Lord puts you through in this truth, because we are getting tried. We're going through these different small tests, and ultimately we're going to have the ultimate test, which is going to come when the MOTB is made mandatory, But everything that we're going through in this life, this affliction that we're going through, the adversity that we have to go through, it's all for a greater purpose, and we understand that, and that's what gives us comfort. That's what keeps us going, because, hey, we know that we got to wait on the Lord, and we also have comfort in, the belief that the Lord is going to come sooner than later. All right, so this is verse 18. "While we look not at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal." So we have faith, that the Lord is going to, come through on this promise, and hey, we're going to be those kings and priests in the kingdom of heaven. That's to come. Once this place is destroyed, Esau's kingdom go down, we'll have that righteous rulership, and even though we just can't really, fully, grasp how great the kingdom is going to be, the Lord still put the Spirit on us to strive and, to catch this affliction so we can get there, and people ain't able to see that. People ain't able to see past Babylon. That's why they constantly do land blitzes and, monetize videos and, go around and, trying to have this type of status, in the world, being a so-called high-value man, in a worldly sense. That's not of Yahweh Shemel. That's these people, that can't see past Babylon. You got certain Israelites, that know that they Israelites, saying that we could have another 1,000 years in this place. So they're, they don't have the spirit of, seeing the things that are which are being able to, the verse 18, right? Let me read it again. It says, "While we look not at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen." So they're not able to see past Babylon. Keep reading. It says, "For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal." All right. So the kingdom, being righteous rulerships, having the incorruptible bodies, having the nations in slavery and subjection. This is what we look forward to. And we understand that this is going to come sooner than later. The scriptures say that the Lord is going to speed up, the times for the elect's sake, But, that'll do with the lesson. And Lord willing, it was edifying. So with that, I'd like to give all the honor and praise and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Ra Chakwadash. Shalom.